Auckland, Tāmaki Makaurau. It ranks in the top 3 most livable cities in the world. But there's another side to Auckland.
The manufacture, supply and use of methamphetamine in Auckland is a problem. From experience, I can say that with the number of apartment blocks in Auckland City, previously we have found methamphetamine labs in an apartment. Particularly in Auckland City, the theft from vehicles, the houses being broken in and property stolen, and a lot of that is used to pay for methamphetamine.
There was no collective action on methamphetamine in Auckland. CAYAD, Community Action on Youth and Drugs, has taken the initiative. With just 5 staff in Auckland, the group decided to use its leverage to pull together a community of action. The Auckland Regional Methamphetamine Working Group is the result. Every quarter it brings together 40 different representatives from many key disciplines. Decision makers and frontline staff, people who don't often meet.
Armwag's been like the catalyst to bring these organisations together and to have that conversation where we have all those multi-agencies sitting around the one table and working towards that one common goal around that reducing supply of methamphetamine.
We can link in with each other. We can achieve smaller outcomes that hopefully we can put into a working group that will collectively create bigger outcomes. Corrections is a large organisation, but again we're limited to what we can do, whereas linking with the police, the local MRIs, the Auckland Council, I think there's more opportunities for us to be able to achieve what we want to.
So as a snapshot, the last women's program we ran there was 9 women in the program. They stayed on the marae for a week. All 9 of them weren't in trouble with corrections for methamphetamine specific charges, but all of them were there because of their methamphetamine habit. They just hadn't been arrested for meth. They'd been arrested for associated behaviours, whether it be violence or theft or fraud.
Most of all, it raises awareness of the extent of the problem, its scope, and how it affects people.
For a start, it's important that as a group we are educated on what their problems are. And I can say from personal experience, having attended the meetings, I know a lot more now about methamphetamine issues around treatment that I didn't know previously, even though I'm a police officer. From there, as a group, we need to start educating the public and different organisations that could be involved around the methamphetamine.
Reaching out to the community is a big part of CAYAD's role in Auckland. One of the subgroups of the committee targets reducing supply.
Boys, just a bit of information here, just to support our community in terms of methamphetamine.
A 1-page pamphlet spells out how to identify a methamphetamine lab.
They didn't know about indicators. They had a feeling that, this or that was going on, but they weren't sure. So indicators was a biggie.
What do you do?
So Ray, we're just supporting community around methamphetamine.
Oh,
so
that's the one there, yeah.
Yep.
You got to be around it, sitting around it.
Just
letting people know. It's just going to harm everyone in their life. It's not the way to go.
And a lot of people weren't that keen about reporting that sort of activity. How would they go about doing that safely and promoting what anonymous means? So a big part of the resource was actually giving them some real clear detail that anonymous actually means this. You won't be asked for your name, you won't be asked to front up in court. So identifying meth labs.
With CAYAD's help, a citywide vision for action on methamphetamine was developed. A vision supported by 16 influential organisations across Auckland taking action together. CAYAD has pulled together a community 40 representatives from 16 organisations with a shared vision. Auckland, a city free from methamphetamine harm. Maireho in Christchurch, a suburb built mostly in the 60s and 70s and popular with families. There are close to 10 schools within the area. So when CAYAD coordinator Mike Moss spotted another application for a liquor store that would sit right in the heart of the school district, he knew it was worth a fight.
I watch the public notices now to see when there is a bottled store application coming up, and there were only days left really to mobilise and do something.
Parents in the community were also concerned.
I suppose what I perceived to be the alcohol needs of the community were being well met, and we didn't need any additional outlets, as well as, I guess, perhaps more subversive influence of normalising alcohol and the role of alcohol in our lives in an area that's heavily populated. There's sort of 8 or 9 schools in a very close area to where this outlet is being proposed.
Well, I had concerns on 2 fronts. One was the focus on the impact on the businesses in the local community, and the other was the impact on people's health. We realised that the access to cheap and more liquor was only going to be detrimental to the general health of the community.
It's about linking people, providing opportunity for people to get together, so organising perhaps a public meeting, finding a key person or people within a community who can facilitate that. And parents are pretty concerned about these issues. So schools are a really important part of any community action. Going around schools, talking to school staff at lunchtime, taking the informal opportunities that presented as well. So rather than ringing up permission to have a meeting, just turning up at lunchtime and saying, look, I'd really like to talk to you about an issue that affects your school. Right now, down the road, there's an application to start a bottle shop. Do you want it there? Or are you interested in being heard and objecting to that happening? Is it going to be good for your pupils, or is it something you'd rather see shelved?
Meeting with local business owners also generated momentum. Mike was able to provide context and details on how to go about submissions. CAYAD pulled together a group of like-minded residents and business owners, and public meetings were organised. Information distributed and an action plan was underway.
Well, no one person could do it on their own, and together a large group of people with different skills and different contacts and different knowledge of the process were able to come together and form an effective campaign of submissions.
Mike also got out there on the streets, delivering information to residents about what was happening, alerting them to the short time frame they had to object.
Speed, being really quick off the mark, using the networks that I've built up as a CAYAD coordinator, having information ready for a community so that they can mobilise and they're informed and able to put in objections that are specific to the point that are within the law, because it's quite narrow and defined.
The result was we managed to get into the Christchurch City Council Liquor Licensing Authority around 189 submissions within 6 days, and that was an unprecedented number of submissions.
The application for a liquor licence was declined by the Christchurch City Council. A victory for the community.
I think one of the key things has been the rapid mobilisation of communities. So when objections, people have an opportunity to lodge an objection, they have 10 days. So what CAYAD has the ability to do with their networks and the people that they know, whether it be MPs or local schools, with the networks that they've got, I think one of the crucial things is that they're really quickly able to spread the message and equip people to object if that's what they'd like to do. So I think it's that rapid momentum, that mobilisation that is really crucial.
What's CAYAD's role? I think it's in the name. It's community action, youth and drugs, and really the role is the community action one. So it's really pure community action, where we have an agenda, reducing the harm to young people, but we inform and mobilise community to act in their own interest, to have a voice, to have a really clear voice and be heard on the issues.
Matt and Carl could have been lost boys. School didn't work out for them and they were drifting.
I was like at Hut High and my parents had split up like a couple of years back, and I was still sort of in like that depressive state sort of thing.
Not really. I had no interest in school.
Yeah, like most of us have kind of been through the same thing. Like some of us are here because of bullying, some are here because they couldn't concentrate in like a public school.
Oh, g'day Matt. G'day Kyle. Hey. Good to see you.
You too.
How you going?
But a partnership between Te Kura, the correspondence school, and CAYAD has given them a new direction. It started as a pilot project with finance from Hutt Valley CAYAD and the Regional Public Health Service. A youth centre where correspondence school students can come for tutoring, a cyber cafe with a relaxed atmosphere, tutors on hand and access to practical courses.
Not your traditional chalk and talk. The teachers didn't stand up and say, we're going to teach maths or science or English. It was just, we're here if you need us, do your work, we'll have a conversation. And at the start, not much conversation occurred, but as the consistency of the teachers was still there, they could go, hey miss, hey sir, hey, can you help me with this, or what does this mean? And then all of a sudden there's this relationship where the young people are driving their own education or their own achievement because they want to know something as opposed to being told something.
You want me to sign this?
Yes, please.
Okay, is this all finished?
Yep.
Great.
Coming here just sort of like helped out quite a lot, you know, just a place to like relax and sort of stuff, like just hang out with mates and, you know, just get free food.
It might just be my opinion, but I find it easier working like either by myself or just with one or two people rather than a classroom of 20.
Your paragraphing's good. So do I spelling's good. It's looking really good.
It's also a place where they can rebuild confidence in themselves. These are kids who have either dropped out or been excluded from school. Many of them have no computer access at home and are isolated.
I've seen again and again some of the young people like struggling to get through their books, but once they've completed it, they get the certificate and they're finished and they're just real stoked that they got through it. And that kind of sense of achievement and accomplishment that they have, I think, makes them see that they don't have to kind of turn to other stuff. Engaging them in other things makes them see that they can kind of make more of themselves.
Twice a week for 2 hours a day where young people could come and go as they pleased. There was a correspondence teacher on site, a youth worker on site, and up to 6 computers at any one time.
CAYAD pulled together 3 groups in this project: the youth centre, the local council and the correspondence school. The results go beyond simply attendance.
One of the successes is just getting students out of their homes, and particularly kids who might be a bit phobic about being in a social environment. We had one boy here this morning who 2 months ago wouldn't leave his home because he's scared of being beaten up. And today I just saw him working with everyone else who's happy. He did some good work, he handed some stuff in, and he was smiling.
This frame, it's the parts, you know, put them in the bin. So I take
There are practical pathways to engaging in study here.
Part of your assessment.
Carl is taking a bike mechanics course.
We've
we've got quite a few students that are older now, so they've kind of been through school, had a year or two to kind of do their own thing, and then they've realised how important education is, and so they've come back through correspondence school.
When I went to Hutt Valley High, I just couldn't concentrate at all. There were just too many distractions, too many people around, but now that I've kind of gotten into this, it's just easier to focus because like I've got tutors that focus, you know, how I said about rather than 30 odd kids or so. I just find it heaps easier concentrating and getting stuff done.
Do you remember what these brakes are called? V-brakes? Yep, they're V-brakes, well done.
If I can pass this, then possibly find a job doing bike maintenance, maybe. Even build my own one.
"16-year-old Isaac has a passion for making music. Here, there is a whole recording studio and a pathway to further study.
If it weren't for probably audio engineering, I wouldn't be at school anymore because I have no interest in it in school. Yeah, life plan. I'd like to do a course, or get a diploma, which is 2 years, or a bachelor would be nice, which is 3.
One of the spin-off projects is a cafe being set up in the Hutt Valley. Students will work in it, gaining skills and hospitality work experience. CAYAD funded a youth worker to get the project rolling.
It's kind of providing like a strengths-based approach rather than focusing on their issues and their problems. It's providing them with something else that they can be engaged with and gives them that sense of pride.
The more formal outcomes we were looking for were an increase in their unit standards or their education work. And what we found was that there was a 220% increase in moving from what they started with to where they ended up in 6 weeks. They increased their capacity to engage in relationships outside of their normal family life, which is where they were kind of isolated.
It's called Secret Level, but the word is getting out. They love their rugby here on the East Coast. 11 rugby clubs make up the East Coast Rugby Union. Small by population, but the East Coast is renowned for its fight and determination to play hard. At grounds like Uawa, Hicks Bay and Tokomaru, support is always strong for the club games. But these local games came with a culture of heavy drinking.
Right around the whole field, alcohol was normalised. It was normal to drink alcohol in the morning, 11 o'clock, right to when the game finished, and to the point where it got a bit dangerous. So what started the project was alcohol was normalised that much that cars were coming in with bootloads full of beer, to the point where the whānau on the sideline drank alcohol, smoked, to where they weren't able to make proper decisions, good decisions, ending up running over 2 kids from Tokomaru Bay.
Local CAYAD coordinator, Kerehama Blackman, started talking with the clubs to change this. The vision was for rugby clubs to become a safe place for families.
For the whānau in Tolaga, we wanted to set a good example, and working with CAYAD was a good opportunity to push it along the coast to create a more positive and safer environment for our whānau on the sideline. So as fathers on the field, they knew that their kids and wives were safe on the sideline. Plus it was to address the negative behaviours that were involved with alcohol and drugs.
Many believed it would never happen,
The reaction that we got from the whānau as kaimahi on the ground and in the community was quite hard. Verbal or Facebook or texting, we were getting bashed.
Kerehama persevered. He used his connections, speaking with club committee members and bringing data back from the police to back his case. Toko Maru Bay was the first club to create a policy banning alcohol from the sidelines. CAYAD helped fund no alcohol signage for the sidelines.
Our signs have been going for about 3 to 4 years. They're still white, we've had no graffiti on them, our signs are still around the field, and I think that's a positive message and a positive response from the whānau in itself. And we are getting there. I can say 70% of the whānau around the rugby fields ain't drinking. We still got 10% of whānau who drink, but we're slowly getting there, and the best outcome is the whānau are putting pressure on whānau to support the kaupapa, not us as CAYAD Kaimahi. And I think that's what community action is about the community taking ownership of the kaupapa, not us always forcing it, so we can move on to better and bigger things.
Nā reira, kanui aku kupu whakamihi ki te aitanga a hau iti hauora, nā rātou te wero. Nā rātou te wero ki te iwi kāinga, kia pērā rawa ai o mātou papatā korone. Kia hai, kia kore rawa mātou e rongo, te haunga o tērā momo momi kai paipa i Wainganui i a tātou, me te mātakitaki i te hunga haurangi kei te taho te papa. Tākoro e oma haere ana, e kanga haere ana ki ngā kai tākoro. E whakapau kaha nei ki runga i te papa tākoro e pure whitu pōro ana.
The impact of the project has grown to 7 rugby clubs that now promote the kaupapa. 4 have almost eliminated alcohol from their sidelines. More families are coming to their games and new sports are being played on their fields. Bigger still, the Poverty Bay Rugby Union and Ngāti Porou Rugby Union were inspired to support the kaupapa. The 2 unions now have policies on responsibility around alcohol for all clubs and players on the East Coast.
Kia ora tātou. Ko Clint Eddyman nā hau. My name's Clint Edmonds. I work with CAYAD in Kia ora Ngāti Wai, a whare up in Kāmo, Whangarei. I belong to a group of tāne, of young men and old men, community focus around supporting young men to achieve things, whatever it is, education, health, culture. Working with this group of men, we've identified, because we're so closely knit with the community, some of the needs in the community. We approached schools, we approached marae, we approached communities, and the issue that we found was leadership, a lack of male leadership in the communities. So we used whanaungatanga as our first objective, and what that looks like, it varies from different communities. So if it's schoolboys without culture, we'll use plenty of it, because the minute they learn a haka, these guys, they're so proud, honestly, they're so proud. They just don't look back. They go forward and they want more and they're hungry. We use games, we use string, those that can't identify to a marae, or hapu or iwi, we're all holding a piece of string. I'll throw the ball to the next person, he'll throw it to the next person, we identify who we are, where we come from, and we make this big web. And then we can say that, this is us, this is who we are, brotherhood. And it's a brotherhood, that's what it means. The next one is rapu kawaia hau, seek to know who I am, that's what it means. So, my potential, my strengths, my weaknesses, my fears, my hang-ups, my addictions, my situation. Seek to know who I am, because you're still there nonetheless. Once that happens, you see a bit of an individual growth per person, which leads into the next objective, which is whakamana tangata, which is to empower, to encourage, to inspire. Builds into the next one, which is te ao marama, world of enlightenment. So when they get there and they've seen where they've come from, it's now starting to fit into place that they've got a role in the school to teach the other ones, the younger ones. And the final objective is rangatahi tūrangatira, which is a concept from adolescence to adulthood, a transition. How do I stand now? Why do I stand and what purpose? We likened everything to tāne te waunui, the forest. So everything was based on the law of tāne. In a presentation yesterday I mentioned tāne te wihi, separated rangi and papa, the kōrero goes. So how do I get in there and separate my friends when they're fighting? Using those concepts. Tāne te toro kaha, when it's really, really dry and the trees dig, the root system digs deeper to find water. So how do I reach out to people when I need them? Using those concepts from tāne. I've seen schools develop cultural systems based off these templates and actually feeding their staff into this reaching kids thing. And they've got male teachers turning up to a tāne rākau ora monthly hui, and the capacity is building there. Also parents are turning up, and now they're asking for a female equivalent. And our service areas from Tāpeka Point around Paihia all the way down to Waipu, and everything in between is considered Ngāti Wai. The schools are still calling us now, so there's probably going to be 2 more picked up, which will make 9 schools infected by us. And we have usually 25 kids per school per term. Ngā mihi atu kia rātou. Kia kaha rātou i ngā wā katoa e whai ana ngā hua pai mo tēnei ao. Reira, o tērā taku whakaaro. Hoa te tērā kati. Tēnā koutou.